Our next session, sponsored by Kargo, will discuss what it means to prioritize DE&I in a modern media plan. Please welcome Moderator Jeannine Shao Collins, a particular friend of Synopsys, Chief Client Officer at Kargo, and panelists Kelly Howard of Wavemaker and Angela DiGrazia Mohen from Danone North America. Thank you. Come on up.
Hi guys, how are you today? First, I'd like to say Jeannine Shao Collins, Chief Client Officer at Kargo. Robbie Kaplow is a longtime friend and I love her. But separately from that, Kargo and Danone and Wavemaker are really excited to be here. Kargo is, for those of you who don't know us, we're an ad tech platform who put the art and ad tech, and we're really excited to be here at the Big TV conference because our founder and CEO has been on a shopping spree and has just bought a CTV company, and we have big things going on with LG on LG Glass. So being part of the Big TV conference is a big deal for us because it's a first. Speaking of firsts, I'm with these two rock star women, and we're talking about what I think is really important, that doing the right thing for business is not mutually exclusive for doing the right thing for society. And these women are walking the walk and talking the talk, and I'm so proud to introduce them, and actually really proud of an innovation that we're all doing together to make our businesses and the world a better place. So I'm really excited at that. So Kelly and Angela, can you introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'll go first. Kelly Howard, I work at Wavemaker, media agency for Danone. So I do strategic media planning, overseeing most of the yogurt portfolio as well as the corporate DEI initiatives.
Yeah, and I'm Angela DiGrazia Mohen. I'm the Senior Media Manager at Danone, focusing on the yogurt business, as well as our DEI and video initiatives.
Well, so as I said, these women and these companies are really doing the right thing. And I start every morning with a whole lot of almond milk. And I know that Danone is known as a yogurt company to many. But can you talk, Angela, about your impressive portfolio and how many products that you guys create and innovate against?
Yeah, so most people know us as Danone Yogurt, which is true, but we have many other brands within our CPG portfolio. And Danone North America is actually one of the world's largest B Corps, which is amazing. So while we do have amazing yogurt brands, we also compete in many other health-driven categories, and some of them are probably in your fridge right now. Our CPG portfolio ranges from dairy to plant-based beverages, coffees, creamers, and also infant nutrition. So just to walk you through some of the brands, from a yogurt category, we have Activia, Light and Fit, Too Good, Oikos, Danimals, and Danone. From plant-based, we have So Delicious and Silk. We also have infant nutrition, Actimel and Happy Family, Evian Water, Stoke Cold Brew Coffee, and everyone's favorite creamer, International Delight.
I will say the brands are delicious, and I think my son, single-handedly, as he's trying to weight lift, is eating all the Oikos. All the he's like obsessed.
Yes.
Vanilla is his favorite. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about why we did this. And it starts really with mission. Danone and Wavemaker have really strong mission as far as doing the right thing. I mean, really, not a lot of companies, they say they do, but they don't really. We really are doing it. So Angela and Kelly, can you tell us a little bit about the mission and the priorities from the media side? So Angela, why don't you start?
Yeah, so Danone's mission globally is to bring health through food to as many people as possible. And I think it's really important to focus on that last part, which is to as many people as possible. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that our media reaches the total market, especially as over 40% of the US population is multicultural and growing.
40%.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's big.
And DEI is really embedded in our purpose at Danone, and media is just one of the elements. And I truly believe that our inclusive diversity stance really helped pave the way towards more equitable social, economic, and food systems.
Yeah, and just adding a little bit of background on our DEI journey and how we've integrated media into this. And when we talk about DEI today, we're mostly prioritizing supplier diversification, right? So when we say diverse owned or minority owned, it means 51% of the ownership of the company is owned by either a minority, whether that's Black, Asian, Hispanic, or a diverse owned underrepresented community, like women, veterans, disabled, things of that nature. So back in 2020, we had a reflection moment, as many companies did, in terms of pausing advertising. What could we do more to make an impact? So our change really began when we asked ourselves how much of Danone's annual media investment was invested in diverse or minority-owned publishers. And the answer was less than 1%, right? So with this baseline in mind, we set out to, make a change. And Danone joined Wavemaker and Group M in the 2% Black-owned pledge in 2022. And we expanded our efforts to 4% and exceeded that goal last year. And then this year, we've raised it to 5%, expanding again to diverse-owned publishers, and have exceeded our goals, and excited to share, too, that this is all while our investments have been increasing year on year. So really making a difference.
Really making a difference. I mean, can we give these ladies applause, please? I mean, I know that was like a big I mean, seriously, like, how often can you say that, you're doing the right thing while you're doing business? I'm really, really proud of what you guys are doing. So can you talk a little bit more and expand on your DE&I efforts, Kelly? I mean, I know that you've reached a lot of challenges, and as you're growing the investment, I'm sure you're trying to bat down those challenges on your journey as you're making these plans. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So within media and advertising, we kind of faced three big challenges over the past few years. It's been a multi-year journey for us, as I mentioned. But we've really been able to learn and elevate the inclusive diversity efforts and overcome those challenges. So, starting out, again, back in 2020, there was, visibility was a challenge. So being able to identify, diverse-owned or minority-owned publishers was difficult because many just didn't self-identify as such. There wasn't necessarily MRC accreditation in place, things of that nature. The other challenge has been around just limited access to inventory and platforms, so being able to scale or monetize their inventory through either programmatic or things of that nature. And the third piece is, marketers and advertisers prioritizing proven historical channels that maximize their ROI. There's a lot of competing investment priorities with things like the upfront, obviously, is big in this room when we talk about video. And dollars being committed the year prior makes it more difficult to invest in smaller or more purpose-driven efforts. We also know that, almost 65% of U.S. digital ad dollars are consolidated with three big players. A lot of times that's, again, like the upfront to unlock efficiency incentives, thereby maximizing returns and things of that nature. So, we had all of these challenges that we faced, but we started to think about how we wanted to ultimately change the industry and drive and transform change. So the way to do that was to have a clear strategy as well as a little bit of grit.
Great.
And also prove within, Danone's a big corporation, right? And there's a lot of different stakeholders. So prove to key stakeholders that diverse-owned media can not only unlock incremental reach for your consumers and your media plans and marketing plans, but also drive ROI, just like the big players. So how we embedded DEI end-to-end within Danone's media efforts, we first started with provocative planning, which is a Wavemaker way of working. This is really about integrating DEI into the full printing process and thinking about it more upstream. So identifying core multicultural growth audiences, as well as setting realistic budget goals for each brand. The other thing was bringing measurement further upstream to be able to prove success, right? So as I mentioned, getting all the stakeholders within Danone on board we had to take a little bit of a test and learn approach where we tested with a CTV partner, Hispanic-owned, female-owned, and saw it drove one of the highest ROIs for a yogurt brand within the portfolio. We were able to kind of merchandise that case as a case study and get all the other brands on board and feeling more comfortable about their investments moving and shifting a bit. The second piece is around intentional investment. So this is, being more intentional on where we're investing, but operationalizing DEI into the process. So simple things like establishing a monthly tracker for investment as well as talent. So we don't think about it just from the investment side, from kind of everything that we do. We overhauled the RFP process. So this was ensuring that all partners and diverse-owned partners had a seat at the table in the consideration set and were, fairly evaluated. And, just again, going back to the visibility challenge, we set up a monthly supplier showcase to invite diverse-owned suppliers to present to both Wavemaker and Danone together about what their capabilities are, as well as, just what we're learning, what we're looking for from as marketers. So it's a bit of education as well. So that's been super successful in helping us bring new partners into the fold, as well as attending things like the ANA supplier diversity fairs, right? And typically that's kind of, you have to be a member to do that, but in spirit of kind of the efforts, the ANA has opened it to non-members as well. The last piece is around team empowerment. It's not just the two of us that can make a change, right? It has to be everyone, and I have some of the team here today. So it's about making sure the full team understands the impact or the intent and purpose behind the initiative, so we can empower them to become a DEI champion and, challenge and provoke the industry. So a great example here was where our digital and content team had negotiated pay transparency with a content partner. So when we were doing a content program and we're including talent within that, we wanted to make sure that the talent was paid fair and equitable wages. So we were able to do that and get transparency and ultimately get 2.5 times industry benchmarks
2.5
for diverse talent.
I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's great. And Angela, let's talk a little bit more about this partnership. You guys are really holding hands on this.
Yes, we are. And I would just say this partnership really does provide new economic opportunities, which is incredible. It's also making sure that our media partnerships, our campaigns, every partner we work with is really showing up to represent the communities that we serve and our customers, while also increasing marketing ROI, which is also important for us.
That's great. Well, we like to call it at Kargo the virtuous circle, right? We're helping diverse-owned suppliers, and they're helping us grow our businesses, and then we get to give back, and it's a whole good thing. So, since we're here at the Big TV conference, let's talk a little bit more about video advertising and where you think CTV and DE&I are going. And I have to put a plug in for Kargo because, once again, we just become a CTV player, and we're so excited about the innovation that we're going to do with Wavemaker and Danone. So, Kelly, why don't you start with that?
I'll flip it to Angela.
Yeah,
this is her spotlight.
Yeah, so I would say within everything we do at Danone, we're always putting the consumers first, right? And as Fallon mentioned, COVID really accelerated cord cutting and the proliferation of video platforms. We started seeing a ton of headlines where every network was coming out with a plus platform for streaming and ad-supported tiers. And we knew that consumers were leading into different service providers to view the content that they wanted, which ultimately resulted in a higher volume of our impressions going towards CTV with that evolution of digital first. During this time, we also consolidated our video buys programmatically, where we were able to reduce frequency and overexpose impressions and serve that towards more unique reach, which ultimately resulted in better performance metrics for us. And we know that video is king, as we mentioned. So our target consumer, women 25 to 54, is spending around 27 hours a week.
27 hours?
Yeah, whether it's video or linear consumption, which is huge. So we need to make sure that our media mix is evolving, and we're really chasing that consumer behavior and consumption patterns. Here at Danone, we have a video agnostic approach where we're always making sure to ensure equitable reach. And I think throughout this process, we've optimized our mix. We've leveraged Hispanic language TV, which is awesome to not only reach all consumers there. And then we've also, as Kelly mentioned, done a test and learn with female Hispanic CTV partner Canela to really just showcase the power of incremental reach, and we're leveraging that out across all of our brands. And I think just underpinning all of that, we're really making sure to focus our investment. We're helping DEI to expand household penetration and just optimizing our mix to make sure that we're unlocking value for the brand.
That's very impressive, I have to say. Really, really amazing. Now, once again, I always throw you the challenging questions, right? And you're very nice. You do it with a smile. Tell us some more about the DE&I challenges when it comes to the new frontier in CTV.
Yes. I think the biggest challenge is, the function of more advertisers investing with diverse-owned partners is that the ability to scale. So, without the full infrastructure in place, it's amazing that they're getting more of the dollars and more piece of the pie, but without the right tech and infrastructure in place, they aren't able to fully scale and monetize their platforms. So an example here, we had under delivery with a linear network, and rather than pushing for standard video ADU, right, we looked at what the creative was, which was a compelling advertising from Oikos, your son's favorite.
Yeah.
And
vanilla and strawberry.
it had featured Dion and Shador Sanders, father-son duo. So it was right before Father's Day. So we looked at more of a Father's Day sponsorship package, and to really tie that contextual relevance of the creative with the media drives further impact. So we were excited to do things like that. So thinking creatively on solutions like that and working with partners that can extract more value for both parties.
That's great.
Yeah, and just to add too, with the rise of retailer media networks, CTV is really in high demand as a premium tactic. And what we found was that our brands are investing with these retailer partners, and then these retailer partners are running audience extension campaigns on third-party sites, which we're also working with directly. So we saw this as a huge opportunity to unlock incremental value, both for our retailer partners and also for us at Danone. And so we found this as a huge opportunity. We provoked the standard way of doing business and invited these key retailers to join our DEI pledge and facilitated these connections. We introduced the Walmart Connect team with Canela, our CTV partner, and really showcase the value and the performance that we're seeing with this partner. And I'm happy to report that Canela is now included within Walmart Connect's DSP.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's big. That's so big, right? I love that. So now for my favorite and last question, because it's all about the work that we're doing together. Kargo and Danone and Wavemaker have come together to create the first, and they were really one of our first partners to come together for the Kargo Multicultural Content Amplifier. Can you talk a little bit about why this is important to your DE&I and media strategy? And we're so proud of it, and we're doing really great work.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, with the current challenges as advertisers are increasing their investment, inventory and being able to scale and monetize their platforms has been one of the key challenges. So when Kargo introduced the Multicultural Content Amplifier, MCA, we were thrilled to be that foundational partner, or a foundational partner. This one is particularly with Bomisi, so more Black-owned businesses. Bomisi is Black-owned Media Equity and Sustainability Institute, and they're essentially a nonprofit that's helping fuel Black-owned media businesses with the tools and resources they need, to thrive. So, like you said, the MCA is about supporting that through investments in content, tech, with things like content management or SEO. So this was, the solution that we were looking to help be a part of. And, it's a way for marketers to enable, plug that gap that we're seeing in the marketplace and ultimately do good. Because, it's not only helping them meet the supply and demand, which gives us more impressions and more reach of our audiences, but helping build their ecosystems and doing good, as well as sustaining growth long term. And the next thing that we're just kicking off is a content hub as part of the MCA. So this is where we're co-creating meaningful content together, and aligning with the Bomisi audiences, what they're looking for from a content perspective, as well as what content aligns with the Danone brands or Danone values. So of course it's going to be things like health and wellness, but we're also exploring things that align with the brand's impact strategies, whether that's food insecurity or women empowerment. So it gets me super excited about what's to come over the next 15 months and the impact that we can make together. But if I was leaving you guys with one thing today, is that everyone here, and this is about us changing the industry as a whole, is that encourage you guys to become DEI champions, and no idea is too big or too small.
Well, I have to say, I'm so proud of this. Angela, do you want to say anything about that before I wrap up?
I could.
Yeah, I mean, look, I want you guys to pat yourselves on the back, because right now, Kargo, Danone, and Wavemaker have employed, through our multicultural content amplifier, over 20 writers and have created over 700 articles in a month. 700 in a month. And we have a whole multi-year commitment to create more content and provide more economic empowerment to these diverse-owned suppliers. So we're so proud of ourselves. We're badasses. And I have to say, we started with Bomisi. We're doing a partnership with Gold House to support API, my personal favorite. No offense to anybody else, but it is personal. And then we're also doing something with Equal Pride for LGBTQIA, and we'll be doing stuff for women in sports and Hispanic in 2024. So we're so excited. Thank you for being our launch partners. I could cry.
Thank you for
Thank you very
including us.
much.